All right, welcome everybody. If there's anybody still out in the back, if you guys want to come in and get a seat, we'll get started. It's so great to see the turnout. We've been doing this for about the last 4 or 5 years, just giving parents the information that we're going to give all your children on Tuesday, but I think it helps a ton as parents knowing what's coming up, what to expect, what to be looking for in your children's folders when they come home Tuesday, and all of that. So we have a ton of really great information for you. I'm Shannon Bartlett, one of the school counselors here. I work with students, last names A through G, and then we'll introduce our other counselors in a bit. But I want to pass it off to our principal, Mrs. Benson, to give some welcomes.
Good evening, everyone. We're so glad to see such a great turnout. We welcome you. We're glad to see you here tonight. I want to see, by a show of hands, how many of you have your first incoming high schooler? Raise your hands if this is your first high schooler. Okay, a lot. That's awesome. Raise your hand if this is not your first high schooler. Oh, more than I anticipated. Okay, that's pretty great. So for those of you who have been through this before and have students in the high school already who have graduated, thank you for coming again tonight. We do have some new and updated information. And for those of you whose children are starting high school for the first time, they're going to be in great hands. We are really proud of the programming we offer here, the classes we offer, which you'll hear about, the extracurriculars, activities, and sports. Our goal is that when our students graduate, they are the best, most well-rounded version of themselves, ready for whatever is next after high school. So thank you again for coming out tonight, and I'll do some introductions too, I think, on the next slide. So there's me. I usually look the same all the time. I just always wear the bun. It's easy. So there I am. I don't change much. Jeff Swanson is another assistant principal. He is out and about because we have our conferences going on as well. Some of you, he's wonderful. He's a great resource for our students, great advocate for kids. And we have Ryan Dillner, who is our assistant principal. Ryan is the assistant principal who works most closely with our freshman students. You're going to hear, I think you bring up BAR, right? So we have a BAR program, which stands for Building Assets, Reducing Risks. It's a transition program to help support our freshmen when they come into high school. So it's a group of adults and freshman teachers and Mr. Dillner who meet regularly about our freshmen to say, what strengths do they bring to school, what are areas of challenge, and how can we best support our kids. So we have close eyes on all of our freshmen to ensure that they're getting the support that they need, and we're also celebrating their successes. So Mr. Dillner's a big component in our BAR teams. And we have our AD, and I'll let you introduce yourself, Austin.
Hello, everybody. As it says up on the board, I'm Austin Junker. I'm the activities director and assistant principal here at the high school. Since you guys did such a great job participating, raising how many of you guys are involved in an extracurricular activity at the middle school currently? Let's get some students' hands. There we go. All right. Well, if you're interested, if you have any sort of passion, we try and find as many opportunities for that to extend into extracurriculars as possible, whether that's in athletics, whether that's in the arts, whether that's in clubs. We have tons of offerings that we're going to go over during the presentation today, and every year we continue to add extracurriculars, whether we're talking about things like chess club, things like our business group, our math league. We continue to grow our extracurriculars, and they've been a huge part of the reason why our participation rates have been so high here in Richmond. So if you're someone that's interested in getting involved, the great news is that with the registration process that we adopted 2 years ago, if you're involved in extracurriculars at the middle school, nothing will change for you. So if you're going to register for this upcoming year for an activity or an athletic group, you can use your same login, you can use your same password, and all that information carries over directly from middle school. So we tried to streamline that process as much as possible to make it easy for you to sign up for something that you're interested in. But I'll let our counselors explain a little bit more, but at this point I just want to say thank you guys so much, and we're looking forward to having you guys next year.
I'd also like to take a moment to introduce our front office staff. They are kind of the heartbeat of the school, and you'll have a lot of interactions with them from grades 9 through 12. So starting with Patty Berger on the left, she is one of our front office admin assistants. She is crucial when it comes to student scheduling, We also have Courtney Hammer in the front office as an admin assistant. She's usually the face like parents. So when you come into the door, she's the one who's going to buzz you in and be the first to greet you. So that is Courtney. Brooke Barker is our attendance. She oversees kind of our attendance procedures. She is the one that you would reach out to leave voicemails or send notes in if your child is absent. Beth Gould is our athletic administrative assistant, so she helps coordinate things like physicals and schedules and is Austin's right-hand person. And then we have Stephanie Green, who is our school nurse, and she is amazing. So again, from small needs to big needs to medications to whatever you need, she's here to support your child. So that is our front office staff, and I will pass it off to our counselors now to introduce themselves and to share with you the bulk of our presentation. And again, thanks for coming tonight.
Awesome, thank you, Nikki. My name is Kirsten Mazlowski. I am one of the school counselors here up at the high school. I serve students last names H through N. We also have Ms. Bartlett, who you heard from earlier, services students A through G, and then Mrs. Wander, O through Z. And then tonight we are also super lucky to have Ms. Kara Casey here, who's your current school counselor. So she's here today too to help answer any questions, and then just so she can kind of hear the messaging, so that if you guys have questions, you know, throughout the week or through the rest of this school year, she's also an amazing resource as well. So definitely reach out to all of us. So here at the high school, we as counselors support very similar to what the middle school counselors do. We help students academically. We help with class planning and scheduling. We also keep track of their credits and just making sure that they're on track for graduation, kind of getting them caught up on anything that they might be missing. We also talk about college and career readiness. We do one lesson a month that is targeted toward ACP, so that academic and career planning. So we have that time set aside for students to kind of work on that as they go through high school, so that by the time they get to junior, senior year, it shouldn't be like, oh no, what am I doing? Because they should be working on that kind of consistently throughout their time here. We also do social emotional counseling, and then prevention and intervention, crisis intervention too. So very similar to what happens at the middle school. So then just some general information. Our school day runs 7:35 to 2:57. We have 8 periods in a day. That third hour or that third period is our tiger time, or kind of similar to like a homeroom. That's where we'll push out those academic and career planning lessons. We have school-wide information that goes out during that time as well. We do a lot of community building during that time. As 9th graders, you will all get a mentor, and one Monday a month, kind of in first semester, you'll get to meet with your mentor, kind of do some community building that way as well. Lunch is during 5th period. We get 30 minutes for lunch here at the high school, and it's determined based on what class you have that hour. So lots of variety there, and then our passing time is 5 minutes, so 5 minutes to get to and from your classes is pretty quick, but I can guarantee you it is enough time to get from one class to the next. It's just being mindful of packing up all your stuff and then getting there quickly. So this is some of that updated information. So those of you that raised your hands, this is maybe your second, third, fourth kid that's come through New Richmond High School, we do have an update to kind of our graduation requirements. So before we had 23 credits, now students need 25 credits to graduate. So that's kind of the biggest update. They need 4 credits of English, so that's 4 years of English, 3 credits of math, 3 credits of social studies, that 3 of science, 1.5 of Phy-Ed, the half a credit of health. And then this is kind of where that change happens. Starting with this current class, so your 8th graders, personal finance will now be a graduation requirement that they have to take. And then they need 9.5 elective credits to take. So one of the other changes with this is that of the 8 semesters that students are here at the high school, 6 of those 8 they can take a study hall. So at least 2 semesters they won't be able to take a study hall, just to make sure that they're reaching that 25 credits to graduate. So those are just some of those big things to Oh, sorry. I was like, did I not say that right? So those are just some of the big things to note as you're coming up. That big number 25, personal finance is going to be added in there, and then that 9.5 credits compared to that 1.5 or 8 that we used to have before. So just note some of those changes. Us counselors are coming to the middle school next week on Tuesday to kind of go over scheduling with your 8th grade students. They're going to get a packet of information. In that packet has our graduation requirements. This sheet that you see up here, so you'll be able to look at it kind of more tangible next week. This kind of lays out different tracks that your student might be interested in, just so you can kind of pay attention and plan going forward. So we have what you need to graduate from New Richmond High School. If you're planning on going to a 2-year tech or trade school or going straight into the workforce, kind of what you would need. And then if you're 4-year college bound, kind of what other classes might be required of you. So just paying attention to that so you can plan ahead is super helpful. And then our core course and elective options. So New Richmond High School offers 148 different classes. So we have a ton of variety for students. There is something for every single student to find something that they're interested in. So we really encourage students to try to take a variety of classes, try out a class maybe you aren't so sure about, or maybe is a little bit outside your comfort zone, just to try it and see. Students should plan to take as many courses as they can in the field they plan to pursue. So, for example, if you are a student that wants to go into the medical field, really making sure you're taking medical terminology, human anatomy. If you are more of a tech ed student, want to go into being a mechanic, taking all of our auto classes and our tech ed classes. So just really being mindful of that so you can kind of get that exposure and get that experience will be really helpful. Also be mindful that a lot of our courses, including electives, may have prerequisites. So that means you have to take a class first before you can get into maybe the one class that you want. So that would be really important to take a peek at our course handbook that's also online to kind of read about some of those classes and see, you know, what might be a prerequisite. Sometimes it's a specific level math class you might need. And then to pay attention, when is it offered? Is it offered every other year? Is it only first semester, only second semester? Because that will help with your planning purposes too. You just don't want to get to junior, senior year and miss out on taking a class because you didn't kind of forward think and plan those in. So just being mindful about that. Our Spanish and Fine Arts, they are not required here to graduate. However, some schools do require to either have 2 years of the same language, which would be Spanish for us, or to have that fine arts requirement. So again, you just kind of want to be thinking about that kind of sophomore year. What is your path? If you are thinking about going to a 4-year school, just doing that research and seeing, so again, you're not missing that opportunity to maybe add in Spanish or to take a fine arts class, okay? You will also get this in your packet too. This is kind of where it's really great to take a peek at that forward planning and start to kind of pencil in some classes you might want to take, just so that you can plan ahead and you can make sure you're fitting in all the classes that you want to take. Again, nothing is worse than meeting with a junior or senior and they really wanted to take a class, but they haven't met prerequisites or it's not offered that year. So just being really thoughtful about it, making sure you're taking the time to do this. Now this is a good, I always say pencil in, because things might change. Something might be full. You know, if you wanted to take Phy-Ed 9th grade year, but the section is full and we have to bump it, just being flexible with that, but this should overall give you kind of a good path for you to take your classes kind of throughout high school. And then, so planning ahead, considering, again, kind of that 4-year school. So if you are a student who wants to go to a 4-year college or university, making sure that for those 3 years of science that you take chemistry 1 and 2. At the high school, we only require 1 semester of chemistry. That second semester, your junior year, is a science elective of your choice. But if you're planning to go to a 4-year school, you will need to take that full year of chemistry because colleges and universities do require that. You'll want to take a minimum of 3 years of math. but we strongly encourage you to take that 4th year. Schools will like to see that. It's really hard to take a year off of math, then have to jump back in and take math again in college, so you just want to make sure that you take that. And we encourage that you get up through Algebra 2, so just making sure that you do that. Again, some schools may require at least 2 years of the same foreign language, so you'll just want to make sure that you're checking into those schools. We just have Spanish here, so just being mindful of that. And then again, possibly that year of fine arts. A lot of Minnesota public universities will require that year of fine arts, so again, you just want to be mindful and paying attention to those requirements so that you're not missing out and potentially not being able to go into a school that you might want to because you're missing some of that. Again, check with any school that you're thinking of. You can do a quick Google search of their admission requirements. You can always email their admissions office to see what they require. You just want to make sure that you're being as prepared as possible. Believe it or not, high school goes so quick. In a blink of an eye, you're going to be a senior. So you just want to make sure that you are really taking that time to be thoughtful about the classes that you're taking to set yourself up for success for your future.
All right, so we are lucky here at New Richmond to be able to offer quite a few advanced classes and really classes for everyone. As you can see on the top left there, we have quite a few classes that we have dual credit partnerships with the University of Wisconsin River Falls. So many of those used to be advanced placement classes, but are now dual credit. So students will pay, or I guess parents, sorry, you guys will pay part of the tuition if your student enrolls in those classes. And then they end up, when they graduate, they end up with that transcripted credit from River Falls that whether they transfer there or are admitted there after high school or go to another college, they'll have those college credits already earned for a fraction of the cost. Underneath there, you will see we have Welding Academy, childhood classes, some medical classes. Those are partnerships with Northwood Tech College. And in particular, we have a fantastic welding program here. So for those of you that are out there that are interested in welding, you'll want to take those classes, those prerequisites the next couple of years so that when you are a senior or you're a junior, you can apply as a senior into the welding program. That gives students the opportunities to take 3 hours of welding classes through us with the partnership of Northwood Tech, paid for by the school. So then if they want to pursue a welding program at Northwood Tech after that, they would only have about 9 credits left. So it's a pretty fabulous partnership that we've had for the last several years. Then on the right is our advanced placement classes. So those are college level classes as well. As a freshman, you could take AP World History. That would be the first AP option for you. All of those classes are taught here by our teachers. Parents will pay, if you choose, $100 for the AP exam, and then if students earn a passing score at the end of the year, that is also college credit that is earned. So potentially we have lots of opportunities to earn college credit right here before you even graduate. Saves you money in the long run and time in the long run as well. These are all of our clubs that we have available. I know that Mr. Junker talked a little bit about these. I'm not going to go through all these. We don't have time for that. But again, just like our courses, there really is something for everybody. We do have a extracurricular fair in early September that we have during the school day. So we have all of our freshmen go around and visit with our 10th through 12th students that are part of these clubs, and they share information about them, and then you as ninth graders can sign up. And we'll have more information about this on the first day of school as well at freshman orientation. And then here are all of our sports as well. Similar to the middle school, we have obviously more, and then some of them are, I think, I know we've had students that struggle with having to pick, only one once they get up here, but we have a lot of sports to take advantage of as well. All right, so Mrs. Benson had mentioned the bar program. So this is similar to how the middle school formats their schedule with the two houses, the black and orange houses. So we split up the freshman class so that half of the class each class has the same core teacher. Those core teachers have a chance to meet on a regular basis and really have an extra eye out for our freshmen, just to make sure that if they notice any students are struggling academically or emotionally, that we can try to intervene and help support them early on. So the cohort teams are the core areas there. It's pretty nice for the freshmen because they have that same set of core teachers throughout the year. And then part of it too is there's a lot of community building within those core classes. So each core area will have an I-time lesson where they're really getting to know their students and build that community in the classroom, as well as teach students social, emotional, coping skills, things like that. Sorry, I keep pressing the wrong button. So 8th graders got to come up this morning. It was a lot of fun to see them going around touring the high school. Of course, that isn't enough, right? So next fall, you guys will be a little nervous about actually starting here and having a schedule and finding where your classes are. So for several years, we've been lucky enough to have a freshman orientation day where just freshmen come here. So the other classes, 10th through 12th, are not here that day. This is just a little simple way to show you just a couple of highlights about what we talk about on that day. A big part is we give the students lots and lots of time to walk their schedule. That seems to be the biggest thing that 8th into 9th graders are nervous about. So we make sure they have plenty of time to do that. We give them their locker assignments. They, as Kirsten said, we match them up with their mentors. And they get to go through their schedule and actually meet all their teachers on that day as well. So we have a lot of fun activities planned for them. So that'll be the first day of school, which this year is August 19th. Oh my gosh. I'll get this on my last slide, I'm sure. Okay, so Kirsten did a great job at explaining all of the freshman requirements. I'll just highlight a couple of things. So for English, choices are English 9 or enriched English.